Hi, I'm David with EV World News. We're talking about electric vehicles, green energy, and the stock markets. And I'm back today with our founder and chief editor, Bill Moore. How's it going today, Bill?
Hey, going fine, thank you.
All right. Well, I know we've got our usual stock ticker going across the screen there at the bottom. Our first topic today is going to be on Tesla. So, Elon Musk versus Bill Gates. Bill Gates is shorting Tesla stock again, and Musk knows about this, and he keeps calling out Bill Gates because Bill wants to help save the planet, and that's what Tesla, a big part of the thing is about being a green company, and but Gates is constantly trying to short sell on Tesla. Now, I'll be honest, I know a lot of people who trade Tesla all the time. They're constantly in and out of Tesla stock one way or the other. So, I mean, the Gates thing isn't really that crazy. It's just the dollar amounts
it's just
that he's
it's
trading.
just two mega bucks
Yeah.
jousting each other.
So supposedly recently it's cost Gates at least 1.5 billion in losses that he's taken by shorting Tesla and getting it wrong. Musk warned Gates to exit the position soon or face additional losses as Tesla stock continues to rally. Well, that's questionable depending on the day, right?
Yeah.
I think Tesla stock is a little over $400. It'll come around on the ticker here and again in a second, but it was at almost 480, headed to 500, and then it came back around the other way. But this has been a long-standing feud between the two. Here we go. Oh yeah, so
404.
Tesla, Tesla's only at $404 right now. Mind you, earlier this year it was at 220. So 404 is a big number.
And Rivian is up a little bit, although it looks like it's about down $2 from where it was like last week. So
yeah, Lucid's down to $12 again, which is the lowest it's been in a while. But I remember when we used to have Adib on here on Fridays, we were talking about it being about $3.50. So it's definitely, improved. Let's see. But and of course, even Microsoft's down a little bit, 3%. Oh, they're down more than Tesla.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. But anyways, I just thought that was kind of a funny article to start with because it's constant feud, but I just know a lot of people that trade Tesla stock. It's got some predictability to it typically. And so, people will do various things.
Despite the unpredictability of the management, right?
Yeah.
I get what they lost 2 more guys, senior managers last week.
At which company?
Tesla.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I wonder if they're going to go out and start their own car companies.
Well, probably that or a rocket company or I said, what did the one guy? There's another guy that quit and he's starting. I think he's going into AI, I believe. So he's going to do an AI push. So yeah,
it's amazing. I saw news today that Jeff Bezos is going to become co-CEO of an AI company.
Of another company, yeah.
Yeah, and they're making AI specifically for engineering and manufacturing. And I was born in 1998. I'm not sure what that was supposed to signify.
Reference. I don't know.
Anyways, but it's just a very specific type of AI, and I guess it's designed to fit into embedded systems of some sort.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought it was kind of interesting. There's been a lot. There's already been like $6.5 billion invested in this company, and I'm just like, wow. Don't even know the name of the company, and I just thought it was interesting to see that Bezos was getting actively involved.
Yeah, who did I saw some kind of a headline today about this whole AI space being, in a bubble, yet another, forecast that it's a bubble. So
yeah, I don't know. The thing is, but you were mentioning like the 2 guys leaving Tesla and heading into AI or something. Is all these AI companies are competing and offering millions of dollars in income and in stock options to people from the other companies. And they're all trying rapidly um, trying to do that. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Bill founded EV World in 1998.
Yeah, 1990. I mean, technically, I got involved and started doing things from the summer of 1997, and then did my quote. I had soft launch before that. Then I did my official launch on January 1 of 1998. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. It's just hard to fathom. What's that? 27
All
years.
the changes that have taken place, my God.
Yeah.
Which is why I was interested. They found that basically abandoned EV1,
Oh
which was
yeah.
built in 1997.
Hmm.
Okay, and I posted the link to the YouTube video. The electric, it's called Electric Garage, is starting to do a series on this being restored, right, and all the things that have to be done to get it, because the goal is to get it running, get it clean, get it running again. Although GM did everything it possibly could to make sure the car would never run again. But these guys are determined to make it run. But what's interesting about that video is they really did a good history of the development of the EV1. I was pleased to see how they had done a lot of research in the background of the EV1. It's linked to AeroVironment and the solar race down in Australia. So they did some really good research in the middle of that longer video about all the problems with the car and all the things that they had to work on. So
Yeah, you can find it right here on the homepage for EV World as a link to the video. And did I just crash out?
whatever happened to maybe I got too many things running on that page, you think?
Oh no.
Oh no.
Can you still hear me, Bill?
Yeah, I can hear it fine.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank God. My Chrome has crashed out to a certain degree.
Oh
So
no.
yeah, so I may disappear for a minute and have to come
Okay, well,
back.
while you're doing that, I'll answer Toys Gaming's thing here. What does EV World do? We report on the what's happening in the world of electric vehicles, and we've been doing that for 27, going here after the first of the year for 28 years. So I've been across much of the world and deep embedded into the research and development. I've been to the General Motors labs, and I've been inside Toyota's secret labs, and I've been to Ford and Chrysler, and oh yeah. So I've had an opportunity to do some really interesting travel. I've stood on top of the world's first nuclear reactor that produced electric power in Idaho Falls. I've looked down deep into the clear blue pool where they store the nuclear waste. There's outside of that lab, there is a giant rail car that is two flatbed rail cars that are welded together to hold the engine for what they hoped in the 50s would be the world's first nuclear powered bomber. Only good thing they got out of that, I understand, was a radioactive locomotive that they had to bury out in the desert. So, hey, Dave is back. So, hopefully, so that
Sort
tells a
of.
little bit about us. I've been involved with the EV space for a long time. Like I like the kid, I know where most of the bodies are buried now. So
Nice. Um, so, anyways, I found this interesting article. Did this
you're
happen
still
again? Okay.
fine. Yeah.
Yeah, my computer has not been really happy with what's going on here, and it's
That's
funny because
odd
I
because
don't
it's
have an awful
normally
lot.
me that does it.
Yeah, well, it just it varies, I guess, from day to day what we're going to deal with here. Um, let's see. And it could just be something. I had found this article talking about Elon Musk said he works every waking hour. He said if you work 100 hours a week while others work 50, you'll get twice as much done. And I thought that was kind of interesting because he's really
Yeah.
known for
How much pharmaceutical help is that with? Because I mean, come on, honestly, you got to sleep sometime, right?
well, he's not
Uh,
saying he doesn't sleep.
yeah.
He's just saying that if you're working 100 hours a week is
I
basically
know.
14-hour
Okay,
days.
okay. I got to figure this out. I start roughly around 6 in the morning. I work until about 6 in the evening, and then we have dinner, and then we sit down, and then I sit there with my iPhone and add more stories to EV World until about 10 o'clock at night. So, what kind of a day is that? How much time am I getting in?
Hmm.
You know, so yeah.
Um, but yeah, I just thought it was kind of an interesting little article, but it was talking, he even has talked about it when he's talked at graduation
Yeah.
ceremonies and things like
Yeah,
that.
yeah. Well, there's
It's
no,
like, well,
obviously the guy works hard, and the guy's got goals, and he's been obviously extraordinarily successful, in the space, and he's done a lot of good things. I would take issues with Doge. I think maybe the original idea behind Doge probably, let's root out waste and corruption and things. Okay, do that. Find it, get rid of it. But, going and digging into my social security records or your social security records and killing programs without knowing what the program was actually about and who it was helping, yeah, I got issues with that. So it's he's done some good, he's done some stupid things, and that's where we're at right now.
well, there's no question. There's a lot of pork, if nothing else, in the government. But how do you balance that out, right? If I'm the senator from Nebraska, I'm trying to get money
Get
channeled
money coming back into
to
Nebraska. Yeah.
Nebraska.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so it's hard sometimes to really figure out what's best there. Now, some of the stuff where the money's going to all these foreign NGOs, yeah, I can understand some of that being questionable, but some of that is really what is the CIA doing, right? Maybe
Well,
the
yeah.
CIA, to get something done in some country
Are
has to
they?
grease somebody else.
Believe me, I've done lots of reading on that
Yeah.
organization. So I have in fact, I'll tell you a little secret between just you and me. I actually applied to work at the CIA once upon a time. And I took the test and submitted the application. And of course, they rightfully, said, thanks, but no thanks, Bill. And by the way, we've sent back all your test documents. Please burn them.
Really? That's interesting.
Okay, sorry.
Um,
I'll have to call them back.
so I had an interesting story. Utah has unveiled plans to bring a nuclear hub to Brigham City, Utah, which is a town in northern Utah. They want to site some reactors, and they want to actually manufacture reactors there. I thought that was kind of an interesting piece. Governor Spencer Cox and other state leaders are looking at rural northern Utah to become a hub of nuclear energy development in the Intermountain West.
Up there with the skinwalkers. You know that story, right?
Yeah.
The Skinwalker Ranch, yes, and all the weird stuff that goes on there. Yeah, why not?
In partnership with Holtec International, an engineering firm, and High Tech Solutions, a nuclear services firm, establishing a new base in Utah. The city and Box Elder County will eventually build the components for a fleet of small modular reactors and ship them to locations throughout the region.
Sounds like a trip you need to take to
Utah.
Utah, yeah.
Yeah, I find that quite fascinating.
Well, it's interesting because they're just down the road from. Oh, come on! I just said it. Idaho Falls. It's not a long drive from Idaho Falls to there. So, and that's where where a lot of nuclear, America's nuclear expertise is located, just up the road.
Right. Yeah. Idaho National Labs.
Yep.
All right. Tesla RoboTaxi expansion is expected to produce a 25+% stock rally. Okay.
Okay.
It'd be interesting to see this. This is coming from
they can get him to stop crashing.
Yeah. CNBC analysts predict it could rally over 25% just based on RoboTaxi development. That would be pretty big. That would be, $100.
Yeah. You're looking at well over 500 at that point.
Yeah.
600.
Tesla's autonomous fleet expected to expand into 8 to 10 major metro areas by the end of the year. Early deployments show promising results
Is
for
that
positioning
with or
Tesla.
without shotguns?
I suspect they're going to keep doing the driver assist.
Yeah.
I just can't imagine they wouldn't, because even Waymo, theirs have always had the ability for a human to take over driving the vehicle remotely.
Remotely, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
so I expect that Tesla's going to do the same thing. Now, in some cases, didn't Tesla actually have somebody in the vehicles?
Oh yeah, I think they still do have a guy riding shotgun in the right front seat with his hand. Apparently, in the handlebar that he holds on to, there's some kind of a button that's rumored. I don't know if anybody's verified it or not, but there's something they think that he can, take over the control of the vehicle.
So it was Tesla, I know you're asking about full self-driving. For the most part, it has been, but it's not at the moment considered to be the premier technology.
No,
It's a
no.
good one, but and it seems to be much better than human only. But Google's, well, or Alphabet, which
Yeah,
owns Google,
Alphabet. Yeah,
also
yeah.
owns Waymo.
Right.
Waymo probably has better tech, but they're also spending $300,000 a car to be marginally better.
To get the LiDAR, that whole rig built in the top of the thing.
Yeah, and I think the difference is between being 99.9% accurate and being 99.99% accurate, kind of thing.
Well, you've seen the stories, I would assume, about Tesla and the Florida lawsuit, and the fact that they have basically they're obfuscating what their data really shows. So I think we have to kind of keep an eye on that Tesla lawsuit, because it would appear that they're not being entirely forthcoming with what their real statistics are.
The real thing is, at the moment, all of this still really is, to a certain degree, is beta testing.
Oh yeah, and unfortunately, with us as the guinea pigs.
Yeah, with humans, and like I said, that difference between 99.9%, 99.99%, if you're one of the people who ends up getting hit by one of the cars, which is still pretty unlikely, in most of the situations they have are fairly extraordinary.
Yeah, I don't think there have been any kind of fatal things, like you've got those cases where people are riding down the highway and they've either fallen asleep or they're looking at their phone and they crash into the back of a fire truck, or whatever.
Right. Yeah, something strange like that people will do. Well, people certainly have their share of accidents. There's no shortage of car crashes in the United States, that's for sure.
Oh yeah.
I feel blessed to live in Nebraska, where people really don't. I live in a city where the accident rate was 5x what it is here in Omaha, and I used to wonder when we moved to Omaha why there's not any accidents.
Yeah.
And I think it's the lack of people driving intoxicated and unmedicated. I don't think you have as many medicated Americans driving around
here locally.
Yeah, here in Omaha. I think they stay home. Yeah,
I hope so. Yeah.
All right. So, according to Utility Dive, America's EVs are a $30 billion grid asset that is being underutilized.
Yes.
Now, this is kind of interesting. So I'm going to give you a couple of perspectives on this, but there's 7 million EVs on U.S. roads, represent a potential $30 billion grid asset that's largely untapped. By 2035, that number should be about 11 to 12 times as many. It should be close to 80 million EVs, which would create a massive virtual power plant through vehicle-to-grid technology. Current regulatory frameworks risk locking away this valuable grid flexibility resource. Now, when I talk to my EV charging suppliers and battery suppliers out of China,
right,
my guy over there, he's not real big on vehicle-to-grid, and he says there's a couple of issues, and some of it just has to do with the fact that your car manufacturers don't really want their batteries used this way. But
no, because that theoretically impacts their warranties, and they'd have to.
But I see from a political perspective, if I'm a politician and I want to balance out power, this is absolutely a solution to help with, some of the, because we know that AI and data center needs are growing faster than people can produce power to power them. And obviously, we want to have more clean energy. We don't want to go back to burning
No,
coal for this
nope,
stuff.
nope.
But shoot, I was on a
Despite the guy digging coal,
yeah, I was on a call yesterday, and somebody was talking about, well, there's ways we could if we could get the coal, we could extract diesel from it cheaper than we could actually produce diesel, or import diesel.
I don't know. I am not a
And just like,
chemist.
no, and I
So
thought that was kind of interesting. They drive. So this is kind of interesting. Waymo drives 2 to 3 miles per hour over the speed limit typically, but what they try to do is, I believe what they're trying to do is they're trying to mimic traffic. So they'll drive at normal traffic patterns. So they don't necessarily just stick at the speed limit, but
they'll go with what the flow is.
Yeah, they'll try to mimic the flow of traffic, so they're not a drag on traffic either.
Well, I assume that's the benefit of either having a radar or this LiDAR or whatever. You got a lot of data coming in anyway, so why not use that then to adjust your speed so that you're not, because if you're driving slowly, then what the traffic's doing, generally you then become a hazard.
Yeah, what a virtual power plant is essentially, you have the batteries in all the cars, and energy is most expensive in the early evening. And this is depending. In some places, you have different tariffs for electricity. So at night, there's an excess of energy on the grid. And at night, that's when people should be charging up their EVs, and all of the EVs can charge to full. During the day, when the car is plugged to the grid, is plugged in, power could be taken from those batteries and sold back to the grid, and the car could make money from selling energy at a time of day when energy is more expensive, and then refill again at night later. And we're not talking about draining the battery to zero, but we are talking about there's a limitation on how much energy can pull from that cable going back into the house.
Generally the system is smart enough to realize how much energy a driver typically, let's say, for example, I live here in Papillion, and I'm going to work at the data center over in Springfield, and so that's a 15-mile drive one way, 30 miles round trip. I'm going to use some percentage of the battery. I've got excess in there that I could theoretically, because I've charged overnight, I've done it at a rate that's less than what the daytime charge would be. I could theoretically sell that back to the data center or to the utility, however it would be wired, and make and become, in effect, what we call the term we're seeing more and more now is called BESS, battery energy storage system, and that's basically these shipping container sized battery boxes that you set next to substations or next to a power plant, and you take that excess energy you might not need, but you need to have up as a spending reserve, take that and put that in storage. And then when there is a higher demand, like people driving home in the evening and turning on the television and turning on the oven and the microwave and all those things, which is typically when the power begins to peak, and their air conditioning in the summertime, when they do that, you don't have to spin up a gas turbine somewhere, what they call a peaking device, peaking generator. You don't have to charge it up. You just have to pull the energy out of that battery. So you can do that with these millions of electric cars that are rolling around with that, anywhere from 30 to what? I see the new Cadillac Escalade IQ, 250 or 205, I thought.
It's 200
over 200.
Yeah, it's the typical General Motors solution is to have a 200 kilowatt hour or larger battery on.
Yeah, exactly. So that battery, if that guy's driving that Escalade and he puts 50 miles a day on it, and it's 200, and he's got it, I think they estimating the range over 400. He's got a huge capacity that he could take and turn around and share on the grid, and in theory, make some money out of the deal.
Yeah, if you've already spent $150,000 on that Cadillac Escalade IQ, you probably don't care.
Yeah.
But it does certainly.
So when you getting yours, Dave?
I don't know. I don't know if I need that wouldn't fit in my garage, I don't think. Yeah, I don't know. I use AI for a lot of things, but it simply makes doing things a little easier. It allows me to get more done. I don't know if it necessarily makes somebody lazy, but even just trying to scan the news, I use AI even to help me find topics of discussion.
Yeah.
And there's just a lot of things that our team uses.
And build new business opportunities I could share with you. I've had some interesting news in the last day.
Yeah. I don't expect AI to be, doing your farming for you, but you just never know. At some point,
it already is, in effect. You've got a lot of the tractors and other combines and things that are, running off a GPS and, and a computer that guides it around the field. So,
yeah. All right. My next topic comes from the California Energy Commission. California battery storage breaks 17 gigawatts installed. That's a lot of batteries. It's 1/3 of the way to its 2045 clean energy goals. Battery storage is proving critical for grid reliability during peak demand and renewable energy integration. And of course, like we were just talking with the vehicle to grid, if you could, incorporate that as well, that time comes along a lot quicker. Obviously, people are adopting EVs in California a lot faster than they are in the rest of the country. So, it'll be interesting to see if and when California really starts doing something, because vehicle to grid really doesn't exist in the United States. I mean, there's been some places that are experimenting.
There's pilots. In fact, there's one or two pilots going on in California. I think Southern California Edison has been doing some work in that area. I know they in the San Diego or Southern Orange County area. So,
I mean, we've seen the tests with Maryland, and Maryland's passed legislation to legalize it, but it's not really been anything large scale.
Well, you have to have the vehicles that are designed to do that, and we're just now starting to see those vehicles being. I think this current generation of vehicles that are coming out after, in the 2026, 2027 model timeframe, there are some vehicles that will have that capability built into them.
Now,
and Ford already has it, of course.
In Illinois, they're doing projects with school buses.
Yes.
To use the big batteries on the school buses for that. So,
and also, I think well, you mentioned Maryland. I think some schools in Maryland are doing it now.
Okay, with the buses. See, I've only ever seen them using just. At one point, they were using like Mini Coopers or something like that.
Well, that was University of Delaware. That was. Okay. Oh, come on now! I interviewed him in 1998 about vehicle to grid. Come on! I'll think of it after I get off the air.
Isn't it crazy though? It's taken this long and it still isn't common.
Oh, well, even before that, the guys that at AC Propulsion were experimenting with that and introducing that concept. AC Propulsion developed the drive system for the original EV1. And that was, they went on, then their next stage was to take, I think it was a Toyota Scion, and convert that to electric. And then part of that vehicle incorporated regenerative braking and memory serves also vehicle to grid capability, or one of their models eventually incorporated that.
Yeah, well, we know it's coming. It's just
it'll happen. It'll happen. It's inevitable.
Jumps up. All right. From the New York Times, luxury EV market stalls. F-150 Lightning and premium models are hitting headwinds. Market is showing stronger demand for affordable mid-range EVs rather than luxury segment. I found some other topic was saying in the used car space that the Chevy Silverado EV, it can now be bought only a year, something like a year old, can be bought
Right.
for like at 53% of retail.
Yeah.
That one's really
Like,
being hit
like
hard
one
by
article.
depreciation.
Yeah, like that article I posted this morning. Depreciation is your friend.
Yeah, if you're looking to buy an EV truck, man, the Chevy Silverado would be the one to look at as
Yeah.
far as getting one used, a year or two old. F-150 Lightning, this is one of the arguments that somebody was putting out against the Slate EVs, was like, you could buy a 2-year-old Ford F-150 Lightning for a fairly similar price to
Yeah,
a
but
new
you can't
Slate.
modify it like you can the Slate.
Maybe not. Maybe not. You could still make it look weird. I'm sure that people could do it. But
Yeah, I
yeah,
can't wait to see the wraps that are going to become available for that when it comes out.
I'm sure it'll be nuts.
Yeah.
Um, anyways, but the sales of the F-150 Lightning have stalled, forcing production slowdowns. Automakers are offering deeper discounts and incentives to move high-priced EV inventory. I saw Kia Niro. You can get $10,000 off now, and it puts the starting price after the 10 grand down to about $31,000.
Oh, I saw one that was, what was that? I think it was a model BMW or something. It was like you get for like $50,000 off or some crazy number.
Wow.
Yeah.
Was it like on the iX or something like that?
Hey, I don't, I have so many stories that I deal with in a day, keeping them all
No,
straight,
no.
a little hard.
All right. Toyota is investing $912 million into U.S. hybrid vehicle production.
Yeah.
Across 5 U.S. plants. Investment signals Toyota's continued hedging strategy between full EVs and hybrids. Comes as hybrid demand remains strong, while some automakers struggle with pure EV sales. And of course, I'm seeing all these arguments that traditional Western auto manufacturers are about to give up because China is just going to rule the world in car sales.
Yeah. For Jim Farley, of course, making the F-150 and so on. For him, the problem right now is they can't find enough mechanics. They have a 5,000 position shortage of mechanics at Ford. Yeah, that's for him, for a Ford Motor Company. That is his current big problem.
Wow. I did not know that they were hurting that bad for workers. The trades in the United States have just been destroyed over the last 20 years with this thing about you have to go to college and all this, and it really hasn't helped in a lot of
and so many of those positions now are being taken up, all the coding and things like that being taken up by AI.
True.
So when you told your kid, hey, get unlike what was the movie with Dustin Hoffman, the future's plastic. We were telling the kids in the in the 90s, boy, the future's programming. And now, the guys that programmed and figured out AI or have in some case, what is it called? Is it Vibe? Is that right? Vibe programming coding, or something like that?
Coding.
Yeah.
Yeah, where we're just basically putting what you want for output and let the system try to determine what it's going to use to give you that.
Yep.
Like I said, I do so much research with AI. AI uncovers when I'm interested in looking up topics. A lot of times AI is uncovering sources I never would have thought of.
Oh, yeah.
Going to look for, and it's like, because it'll show you what it's looking at as it's going through, and it's like, oh, I never would have looked there. I never would have looked there. Yeah, and it's just like, wow. And so like what toys here is, somebody's saying, but as I look and I see, it's like, oh, this is where I should be looking for that data, because I wasn't looking for the answers I needed in the right places with just like doing searches and stuff like that. Right. And AI finds things that I wouldn't.
Let me give you an example. I came up with an idea. I won't share it at the moment what it is, but I just posed this question to AI and I said, what do you think of this idea? It generates, I don't know, it's a 15 or 20 page business plan in something like 2 minutes time on this simple question I asked. I said, what if we did this? And it says, that's a great idea. And then boom, it generates a full-blown business plan, numbers and everything. Wow.
No, it's staggering the use cases you can find. I will tell you, when I'm trying to look at what type of energy to use for projects and and trying to get geographically specific as to where I want something, and it's telling me, it's like, well, you've got no access to a pipeline here, or, it would be cheaper to run power lines,
right,
across this part of the country, and, locate your power generation at one place and run it over, and it comes up with ideas. It's like, oh, okay, and then at the end it'll say, do you want to discuss these topics? It'll ask me. It's
right,
like,
exactly.
Perhaps we should dig into these and look into different things, and it definitely stimulates. It's like, oh, maybe I wasn't asking the right questions.
Yeah.
That's something too, even with AI though, you can ask it. It's like, well, what are the real questions I should be asking on this topic? And I've had some pretty astounding things, especially if I'm looking at businesses for sale.
Right.
It'll give me a list of like 50 or 75 questions to ask the sellers. And about things that aren't answered in the documents they've provided.
Yeah.
All right. The Cadillac Escalade IQ solves EV problems the old-fashioned way. And
with clout.
Yes. Yeah. It's funny. They picked a gray color, which I don't know. I like gray in certain cars, but usually when I'm looking at something like this, I think of this as being either all black or all white.
Yeah.
But they decided to put gray on here. But this is a 750 horsepower, 400-mile range, like they'll say in
two electric motors.
Yep. It's a big vehicle. It's the biggest size of SUVs, and lots of room, seating for depending on how you have it set up. They got this one seated for 7. Yeah. The 2 captain's chairs and the seating in the back row there for 3.
They must have taken that second chair. What'd they do with it? They must have taken that out to take the photo.
I guess they did, or they folded it forward.
And then angled. That's possible.
But it's the charging port's at the back. Okay. Don't know what that means, but
go back. What was it?
It said 1,000 E4 was
1,000 E4.
Yeah, pretty sharp looking vehicle. Big back.
And that's the front. That's the frunk you're looking at.
Is that the frunk?
That's the go back.
Oh,
that's
I guess it is.
Frunk.
Yes.
Yeah, that's where the engine would normally be in an SUV. That is where because you're operating. It's an electric vehicle. The batteries are below the floor pan. There's just 2 motors, and one in the back, one in the front. You don't need all that space taken up.
No, you could get a couple bodies in that frunk.
Yeah, you could.
Yeah. All right. Pros: exceptional range and charging performance. Feels like a flagship. Super Cruise is top notch. So its self-driving is considered to be really exceptional. But it has no Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. Clunky second row mechanism. Torque steers at full throttle. Well, anyways, that's a $150,000 SUV. So, it's not for everyone. That's for sure.
No, probably not. But then wait a year and you can pick it up off a lease and it'll be half that.
Yeah, you never know. Let's see. Lucid stock is trading at $12.79. It would drop to 12. I know it dropped to $12.48, which is a 1-year low. Q3 was showing a $255 million gross loss. Lucid continues bleeding cash with $1.5 billion loss from operations in the first half of 2025.
Yeah.
Once again, though, I think that Lucid has the right financial backers. It's certainly not going down. And considering they're expanding into the Middle East, where they're, into Saudi Arabia and launch into gravity, I think they're going to be just fine. Let's see. And Bill, I think that's all I want to cover for today.
Well, there's lots of stuff on the website that we can touch on, or that we don't have time to touch on, and we don't want to occupy people's time too much. But
No.
thanks thanks everybody tuning in. Hey, make sure that you comment below, and if you're not subscribed, subscribe. We come on 3 times a week. You get to put up with me 2 of those, but then you get really educated when you come in on Wednesday, and you can hear from a real engineer.
All right.
I just pretend to be an engineer.
Yeah. Well, I'll be back with Mike tomorrow. Otherwise, folks, have a great day, and thanks for watching.